Welcome back to the channel. This is Trinity Storm and you were watching 5th part of What If Naruto Became Heir of No Life Prince. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share and subscribe to the channel. Now wasting no more time, let's start the story.
Konoha Council Chamber. Naruto sits with the other council members, his gaze drifting to the Uchiha clan's representatives, Homura and Koharu. They're like cockroaches. Even after being fired from their advisory roles, they can still sit in a council meeting as the voice of the Uchiha, Naruto reflected. Hiruzen sits at the head of the table, his pipe in his mouth, and begins. Suna has sent the terms of their surrender. They blame Orochimaru for their actions in murdering the Kazekage, to murmurs from the council. Construction is progressing well, but the times are perilous now. Other nations may gain confidence, Shikaku says. Which is why I believe we need a Godem, Hiruzen says, shocking many council members. Who would be chosen? Choza inquires. Jiraiya. I would like you to become Godem, Hiruzen says as he moves his gaze around the room. A good choice. Jiraiya-sama is a Sannin, says Inoichi. Jiraiya sighs and raises his hand. I'm not suited for that sensei, but if you want a Sannin. There's one more, he says. Tsunade, but she hasn't been to the village in years, says Shikaku. I can persuade her to return and take the position, Jiraiya says, but Naruto laughs. Do you think you'll be able to find her, oh venerable spy master? Naruto asks, his arms folded. Hiruzen puffs on his pipe as Naruto looks at Jiraiya. Can you find her, Jiraiya? Hiruzen inquires. Of course, sensei. I'll even bring the gaki, Jiraiya says, but Naruto scoffs again, shaking his head. Do you even know where she'll be? Because I do, Naruto says, surprising several people. Well, as you all know, I control Nei, and through their networks, I learned some things, says Naruto. Then where is she? Asks Jiraiya. You're the spy master, Naruto says, turning to face Hiruzen. If you allow me, Lord Third. I'll go under my Anbu guise and persuade Tsunade to return, Naruto continues. Hiruzen closes his eyes to smoke his pipe and ponder. Are you sure you can do it, Naruto? He asks, and Naruto nods. You're going to let him do this? I can find her, sensei, Jiraiya says. How about a wager, Jiraiya? If I can persuade Tsunade to return. You drop this nonsense of me becoming your student, or if I fail. I become your apprentice like my father before me, Naruto says. Fine. You're on, Jiraiya says as Naruto smirks and looks at Hiruzen. The next order of business is I have decided to forego announcing Naruto's heritage to the village as a whole, but I'll allow you to fill in your clans. This was Naruto's decision as he is an Anbu captain, the Sandaime explains, glancing to Koharu and Homura. The village has a right to know, says Choza. While this is true, since I am supposed to be faceless, it is best this way. The daimyo knows and that is good enough for me, says Naruto. Shikaku says, that is your choice, Naruto, and Naruto nods, shifting his gaze to two elders. If nothing else. I call this meeting to a close, Hiruzen says, and the council begins to file out slowly. Naruto looks at Jiraiya and walks over to Hiruzen, where he whispers several things to the older man. That's fine, Naruto-kun. All-informed dragon, Hiruzen says, and Naruto nods, apologizing and looking at Jiraiya. You don't believe he can do it, Jiraiya says. Naruto-kun has some inhuman luck. Why do you think he can't, Hiruzen says, looking at his student. Because Tsunade is Tsunade. She won't just accept returning to the village, Jiraiya says. Perhaps finding out she has some living family here in the village will persuade her to come home and be with them, Hiruzen says, as Jiraiya sighs nervously. TenTen groans and turns to face her window as a crow pecks on the glass, causing her eyes to narrow and her steps to become more deliberate. She opens the window, and the crow drops a slip of paper before flying away. Genin Higurashi. Consider this an opportunity to advance your career. You are to report to the location at the bottom. You are also to cease verbal communication and use only Academy hand signs until this trial is completed or unless told. Failure to do so will result in your termination from your opportunity. TenTen reads and pauses. Tell no one where you're going or why you're going. Bring no gear, it will be provided. Above all, do not let anyone see you arrive. You have 1 hour to arrive. Signed Dragon. Commander of Anbu Corp, TenTen reads, her breath catching in her throat. Me Anbu, TenTen thought, but quickly changed into her mission attire. She quickly leaves her house and walks to the location, staying in the shadows until she reaches a nondescript building. Suddenly, a bag is placed over her head, and the sensation of shunshin erupts, before the bag is removed, revealing her in a room with several lockers. Look down, says a voice, and TenTen notices Neko approaching from behind her. TenTen lowers his gaze to reveal the standard Anbu uniform, complete with a plain porcelain mask and tanto. You have 20 minutes to get ready, says Neko. TenTen slowly undresses to her white underwear and breast bindings before slipping on the Anbu pants, ankle tape, and Anbu sandals. She then puts on the long-sleeved black shirt, chest and forearm armor, and tanto. TenTen follows Neko to a room with a few people. Kneel, Neko orders, and TenTen does so. Hiruzen stood next to Dragon, with his arms crossed and his hood down, his hair more black than blonde. You have been chosen due to the recommendation of my best operative. To be honest, I don't see the appeal. You lost miserably to Asuna Genin during the exams and didn't distinguish yourself during the invasion. However, Kaiketsuki asked for you. So I will trust his judgment. Dragon begins. This mission is a retrieval one. Lord Hokage has asked us to recall his wayward student Tsunade Senju. Understand, Naruto says, pushing off the wall and making his way next to Dragon. Good. I don't expect hostiles, but be prepared. We'll be heading to Tanzaku Gai. Tsunade Senju is supposed to be in a gambling tournament there, Naruto continues, and Hiruzen looks at him. Failure on this mission will reflect poorly on your future, Hiruzen says before disappearing with Leaf Shunshin. Your handlers will be Kaiketsuki and Neko, says the dragon. I get it, TenTen says. You will not speak unless Kaiketsuki or I tell you. This mission will not fail, Rook. Understand, Neko says, and TenTen nods. Inside is what you'll need. I know it's not your standard loadout, but you'll have to make do, Naruto says as he tosses her a scroll. Follow me, and we'll get you a cloak, Neko says, and TenTen does. Why are we being sent to find Tsunade-sama? Asks TenTen. Lord Hokage has expressed a desire to retire, and Tsunade-sama has been chosen to take his place, Neko responds, handing her a black travel cloak. TenTen slips it on and follows Neko outside, where Naruto is waiting for them and signs mission start. The three sprint to the eastern gate, paying no attention to TenTen. She frowns behind her mask as she looks at Naruto, but sighs, will I even be human once I return? TenTen wondered. An hour passes in silence as Naruto makes a fist to stop them. Neko secure the area. Rook set up a fire, Naruto orders, and both nod. TenTen starts a fire with some old sticks while Naruto unwraps some rabbit meat on skewers. Fire started, TenTen signs. As Neko returns, Naruto places the skewers on the fire and sits cross-legged on the ground. We're secure, Neko says. Naruto reaches for a rabbit skewer and pushes his mask into the hood's shadows, while Neko does the same with her cloak. TenTen moves her mask enough to eat her rabbit while looking at Naruto. Rook, where is the nearest town? Neko inquires. TenTen takes a map from her pack and examines it before writing Atofika Town on it. Good, we'll stop there for the night. Neko, keep our eyes open. Rook with me, says Naruto. You and Neko will remain outside the town. I go in as normal and scout things out. Keep an eye out for hostiles, TenTen says, nodding. Kaiketsuki. Should we deal with you no? TenTen asks, smirking behind his mask. Once we reach Tanzaku Gai, Naruto says as Neko arrives and the three take off again. Naruto, says Kurenai. What is it? Asks Naruto. We had a problem. Itachi Uchiha infiltrated the village with Kisame Hoshigaki, Kurenai says, as Naruto casts a glance at Neko. How bad? Neko inquires. Kakashi was hurt, but Sasuke knows Itachi came and is looking for you. He's desperate to find you, Kurenai says. If he asks, tell him I'm out of the village, Naruto says as they accelerate. Atofika City. Wearing black cargo pants and a white muscle shirt, Naruto silently counts one-hand handstand push-ups. Anything, he thinks. Two hostiles are approaching. Intercept, Neko says. I can handle it, my lovely kitten, Naruto says as he flips forward and knocks. Naruto welcomes a young man with Sharingan eyes and long black hair pulled back in a ponytail. Come with us, Naruto-kun, the man says. As a second taller man with blue skin and shark-like eyes appears, Naruto rests his left arm on the doorframe. I'm afraid I'll have to decline Weasel Senpai, Naruto says, his gaze shifting to the tall man. Itachi. He seems to recognize your old moniker, the tall man remarks.
Should we go outside, Naruto-kun?
Itachi suggests. I know many things. Monster of Kiri Kisame Hoshigaki, Naruto says as he walks out into the hallway, a blank expression on his face. Perhaps I should sever one of his limbs, Kisame suggests, reaching for his sword Samahata. So who is Pain? Naruto asks, causing both of them to pause. Wow, he must be a leader to give you both pause, he says. How do you know that name, Naruto-kun? Itachi asks, and Naruto smirks, widening his right eye and exposing his Sharingan, which transforms into its Mangeki form. Itachi's breath shortens as he stares at a familiar Sharingan and his gaze shifts to his Mangeki, Tsukuyomi, he says. How do you have that eye? Itachi asks as the pair finds themselves in Red World overlooking Konoha. You see, 3 years ago I gained a bloodline. This bloodline allows me to assimilate other bloodlines, Naruto begins. You killed Danzo and stole his Sharingan, Itachi says, to which Naruto nods. Even the Mokuton, but that's beside the point. My new bloodline also caused my heart to stop, and since Konoha was still standing. Means the fox can't go anywhere, Naruto says, drawing Itachi's gaze inward. That means the Kyuubi can't be extracted, Itachi explains. Exactly. Technically, both myself and the Kyuubi are both alive and dead because the Yondaime splintered the fox in half and swallowed that half in the Shinigami's stomach, Naruto says. The world around them crumbles as Kisame prepares to draw his sword, but Itachi raises his arm to block him. Kisame, we're retreating, Itachi says. Why? The Gaki is right here, says Kisame. The situation has changed, and this isn't even the real Naruto, Itachi says, and Naruto titters. Bingo. Oh, and boss has a message for Pain. Tell him I'll be seeing him very soon, the clone says as he puffs out a puff of smoke. The real Naruto blows a stream of smoke with his back against a tall tree, dressed similarly to the clone but without his coat. I've played a card. Will I win or go bust? Naruto pondered as he descended into their camp. Did they retreat? Neko inquires, and Naruto nods. Who were they? TenTen signs. The clan slayer Itachi Uchiha and the monster of Kiri Kisame Hoshigaki, Naruto responds, causing TenTen's breath to catch in his throat. Don't worry about it. Once we arrive in Tanzaku Gai, we'll contact Tsunade, Naruto says. How will we communicate? TenTen signs. We may have to enter without masks. Continue not to speak unless told or what you hear, Neko says, and TenTen nods. Rook secure the camp, and we'll pull out, Naruto says as he rises to his feet and rolls his neck. TenTen signs, right captain, and begins to dismantle the camp before departing for Tanzaku Gai. Tanzaku Gai. Tsunade Senju, a former Sandame student, and her apprentice Shizune Kato, along with their pet pig TenTen, arrive in Tanzaku Gai, a gambling town. Time to win, Tsunade says as she grips a red suitcase with a smirk on her face. Shizune says, Tsunade-sama, it could be like the other towns, and Tsunade grits her teeth. The gambling dens in the last 5 towns they visited refused to serve her because her debts had been purchased by someone and they were told not to service her. I highly doubt they listened to some unknown, Tsunade says, scowling. People were bustling for the tournament as the pair marched into town, but she was noticed, prompting many to whisper and stealthily point. Tsunade rushed to a pachinko parlor and began playing, but she was surprised to find herself winning. Shizune cheers, amazing Tsunade-sama, but Tsunade narrows her honey eyes. This is a bad omen. I almost never win, reflected Tsunade. The pair quickly collect their winnings and leave town. It's rare for you to win this much, Shizune remarks, carrying a case and TenTen walking beside her. This city. I have a bad feeling about it. We're leaving, Tsunade says, furrowing her brow. Bad feeling. Didn't come for this gambling tournament. Plus it's a resort town. We can admire the castle and have some fun, says Shizune. Then hurry up. So we can go screw the tournament, says Tsunade, and Shizune quickly follows with TenTen. The trio quickly arrives at the castle, but it explodes due to a large snake, but Orochimaru and Kabuto are on top of the snake. That's? Exclaims Shizune. Tsunade scowls, Orochimaru. She hisses, and Orochimaru chuckles, his arms heavily bandaged. I've found you, Orochimaru hisses, his neck and shoulders bandaged. Tsunade gives the pair a cold stare as they drop down with the walls at their backs. What do you want? She asks. Orochimaru-sama requires your assistance. As you can see, he has been horribly injured, Kabuto begins, and Tsunade narrows her eyes. His heartbeat is rapid, and he is in excruciating pain, Tsunade reasoned. So. I don't do medicine anymore. Ask someone else, says Tsunade. We can't do that. You can see the severity of his injuries. Only someone of your legendary status can fix this Tsunadeheim, Kabuto says as the tension between them grows. Your injuries aren't ordinary. What did you do? Tsunade asks, noticing Orochimaru's trembling arms. Nothing much. I got these injuries fighting the Sandame, Orochimaru says, ignoring the fact that Naruto was the true cause of Tsunade's breath hitches. You attacked Konoha, Tsunade says, a stern expression on his face, and Orochimaru sneers. There's no need to be so frightening. Sarutobi-sensei is still alive. Unlike the ones you lost, Orochimaru says. Tsunade's honey eyes narrow and flicker in rage, while Orochimaru smirks and Kabuto looks between the legendary pair. Loved ones lost. I see. He's devised a terrible plan, Kabuto reflected. Kukuku. Their deaths were quite gruesome. Noble Dan. Your precious little brother Nawaki and newborn godson Naruto, sneers Orochimaru. Shizune clenches her teeth and pulls up her sleeve to reveal a senbon launcher, shouting, "Bastard!" and firing her senbon. Kabuto reacts quickly and blocks the senbon with his kunai knife, saying, "Poison," as he holds one. Shizune rushes Kabuto with a kunai just as Kabuto is about to defend himself with his own kunai. "Stop, Shizune!" yells Tsunade, and Shizune comes to a halt inches from slitting Kabuto's throat. She's no ordinary attendant, Kabuto thought as Shizune jumped to her mistress's back. Orochimaru. You've been like this since the old days. You know how my personality is. So stop joking around. What do you want? Says Tsunade, with a friendly face that quickly turns murderous. Tsunade shatters the wall behind her with her back fist, shocking Kabuto, but Orochimaru laughs. We did not come to fight. We came to negotiate, says Kabuto. Kukuku. Kabuto-kun is correct. We came to bargain. In exchange for completely healing me, I will revive Nawaki. Dan and Naruto, Orochimaru says, startling both women and the pig. I perfected your grand uncle's jutsu, and with it, I can revive all three, Orochimaru says, ignoring the fact that Naruto is still alive. Tsunade stands motionless as Orochimaru chuckles, but she notices the appearance of black crows. Since you haven't chased us off. You're thinking about it, he says. It's too bad you'd have to sacrifice 3 lives for them, a voice says, and everyone gasps. The crows all caw at the same time and explode into black feathers that rain down on them before transforming into Naruto with his Anbu mask on. I'm not sure about the first 2, but I'll take umbrage with the last, Naruto says, his voice distorted. This is bad. With Naruto-kun here. It ruins the plan, Orochimaru thought as Kabuto adjusted his glasses. Tsunade's eyes narrow as Neko and TenTen appear behind the disguised Naruto, Anbu. Why? She wonders. Why is Konoha Anbu here? Exclaims Tsunade. On the one hand, I can finish off the snake who ran from me, and on the other hand, Lord Third sent us to find you, Princess Tsunade, Naruto says, tilting his head and removing his hood to reveal his red hair. Curse you, boy. Orochimaru yells, and Naruto laughs as he slips out of his coat and lets it fall to the ground. Naruto raises his left hand, forming a Rasengan that stuns Tsunade and Shizune even more when a small white flame appears. I almost have the mix down. Care to try again? Says Naruto, while Orochimaru grits his teeth. We're leaving Kabuto, Orochimaru says as he turns to face Tsunade, think about it. You have a week, he adds as they both vanish. Now then Tsunade Senju. May we speak? Naruto sighs deeply and cancels his Rasengan by tossing it aside as it dissipates. Why would Sandaime-sama send Anbu? Asks Shizune. Hokage-sama wishes for you to return to Konoha, Neko says, her eyes narrowing. How about we go to a bar and talk in private? We have a lot to talk about, Naruto suggests. Fine, but you're paying, Tsunade sighs and rubs her brow. Lead the way. Neko. Rook scout the town, Naruto says as he grabs his coat and slips it on. Tsunade stares at the clear liquid in front of Naruto, while Shizune sits next to her and Tonto eats. So, who are you? Asks Tsunade. Naruto pours vodka into a glass and hands it to Tsunade, saying, my code name is Kaiketsuki, but I have another name, as he pushes his mask into the shadows of his hood. Now Lord Third wishes for you to return to the village. The reason being that Orochimaru invaded the village. Naruto begins, slipping a cigarette into the shadows and lighting it with his Zippo. Sensei finally admits he's lost a step, Tsunade says as she downs the drink and pushes the cup back for more. While true, his mind is still sharp. He wishes to finally retire and has chosen you as his successor, Naruto says, shattering the glass. Tsunade is scowling as Naruto removes his gloves to pick up the glass shards. I refuse. The Hokage position is cursed. Everyone who has taken it or dreamed of it has died except Sensei, Tsunade says as a few drops of blood fall onto the table. Naruto notices Tsunade hyperventilating and notices her eyes on the blood. Interesting. A healer afraid of blood, he muses before waving his hand and the blood vanishes. Now I don't blame you for your actions. Indeed, every Hokage except Lord Third has died. Hell, I even had a dream of being Hokage, but that died 3 years ago, says Naruto. Tsunade gradually begins to calm down with Shizune's assistance. What do you mean? Shizune inquires, but Naruto waves his hand. Don't worry about it. I realized it was a fool's dream, especially given my situation. But let's put that aside for now. What if I told you that you have living family in Konoha? Says Naruto. Then I'd say you have a sick sense of humor. The only people I'd consider family died years ago. Her name was Kushina and her baby Naruto, Tsunade says, as Naruto narrows his eyes. Who told you Naruto died? Says Naruto, pouring vodka into another cup for her. Jiraiya. After the Kyuubi attack, we happened to meet, and he told me of Kushina and Naruto's passing, Tsunade says, but gasps, as Naruto clutches the bottle so tightly that it nearly shatters. Hey, Tsunade begins, but her eyes narrow as she notices someone. Tsunade? Exclaims Jiraiya. Tsunade was about to respond when Naruto appears, grabbing Jiraiya by the throat and hurling them out of the bar. Tsunade and Shizune rush out and find them on the ground, with Naruto's hand around Jiraiya's throat. You told her I was dead. Roars Naruto, ready to slay the white-haired man. Jiraiya struggles to avoid passing out or having his neck snapped. "It was a mistake," he sputters. Neko and TenTen appear behind Naruto and seize him, releasing Jiraiya from Naruto's death grip. You're Naruto. Naruto Uzumaki? Exclaims Tsunade. Tsunade gasps as Naruto frees himself from Neko's grip and rips off his mask. Yes, he says, revealing his face. And Naruto. Listen, Jiraiya says, but a chain shatters near him. I find out the old man knew you told her I was dead. I'll kill you and him, Naruto hisses before exploding into a crow murder. Neko also vanishes, leaving TenTen with the two Sannin, Shizune and TenTen. Who are you? Tsunade inquires. Rook. It's a pleasure to meet you, Tsunade-sama, TenTen says. Jiraiya coughs sharply to catch his breath and looks at Tsunade, who is staring at him. You and I are going to have a long talk, she says. I don't think Hokage-sama knew what he's done, Yugo says as Naruto stands on the roof of a building with scarlet tears streaming down his face. I meant what I said. If he knows. He dies and we vanish, Naruto says as he drinks from a vodka bottle with a growl. My respect for the Sannin has gone down, Yugo says as she hugs Naruto behind his back. If Jiraiya hadn't lied, Tsunade would have been in the village and raised me, Naruto begins, looking up at the sky. Perhaps we wouldn't have turned into monsters, Naruto adds. Perhaps, Yugo muses. TenTen appears from behind, and Yugo pulls away from Naruto, re-slipping her mask and resuming her persona. What is it, Rook? asks Neko. Tsunade-sama wishes to speak with you, Captain, TenTen indicates, and Naruto raises an eyebrow. She wants to know more about you. Jiraiya remained silent, TenTen signs. Where is he? Asks Naruto. Tsunade-sama assaulted him briefly, and Shizune is healing him, TenTen signs. Naruto sighs and wipes his brow. Where? He inquires, and TenTen hands him a slip. Alright. Book us a room for the day. I'll be back soon, Naruto says, and both nod as he walks away. What made his tears red? TenTen signs. Neko sighs as she looks up at the night sky. We vampires can only weep bitter tears of scarlet, she says. Come on, Rook. We'll arrange for lodging. As they drop into the street to henge into civilians, Neko says and TenTen. Tsunade takes a swig of sake before looking up to see Naruto approaching. You have your mother's face and your father's eyes, she says. Naruto removes his coat and drapes it across the chair before taking a seat and crossing his legs. So I've been told, says Naruto, slipping a cigarette into his mouth but not lighting it. Tsunade takes another shot of sake and turns to face the blonde. He said it was grief, she begins, and Naruto scoffs. Grief drove him to inform someone that their godchild had died. I really meant it. If your sensei was aware of this, he would perish, Tsunade frowns as Naruto says. I know I don't love Konoha, but I will fight to save him, Tsunade says. Then I hope he doesn't, says Naruto, pulling out a scroll and unsealing some more vodka. Tell me, are you the Kyuubi Jinchuriki? Asks Tsunade. Yes. My own father sentenced me to death for the sake of the village. The old man then caved to pressure and told people I was a Jinchuriki, but I kept my heritage hidden out of fear, Naruto says as he sips a glass of vodka. I can't speak for him, but the village was in a bad way, Tsunade says, offering her a cup, and Naruto pours some for her. Are you adopted? Kushina had several close friends, Tsunade inquires. No. I lived in the orphanage until I was a certain age. The matrons encouraged others to hurt me, Naruto begins, softly smiling, except one. He got me an apartment in the red light district once I was kicked out. It didn't stop people from treating me like crap, breaking into my house, selling me bad food, and overcharging me for everything. If it hadn't been for the Ice Queens, I wouldn't have survived, he continues. How could Sensei allow this? Asks Tsunade. He's a one-man show. That's an old man.
He couldn't keep an eye on me 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Naruto begins to explain how he met the queens, became a vampire, joined Anbu, turned his queens, killed Danzo, and met Karen.
Tsunade had consumed 5 glasses of vodka by the end. How can such a thing happen? She wonders. I'm not sure, but thanks to him. I now have the power to protect myself, and I've dealt with the one who can harm me, Naruto muses. At least that jerk is no longer alive, Tsunade says as they both clink their cups. Would you go back to the village just to meet Karen? She aspires to be a medical combat ninja, says Naruto. Tsunade drinks her vodka slowly, lost in thought. How about Orochimaru? He'll be back in a week, she claims. As they continue to talk, Naruto finally lights his cigarette with a small smirk. Let me worry about that, he muses. The two part ways, and Naruto makes his way to their room, but TenTen is sleeping. Good talk, Yugo thought as she sat by the window, mask removed. We talked for a while. She also agreed to meet Karen in Konoha. So our mission was only partially successful, Naruto pondered. What will we do about Rook? Yugo thinks as she moves off the windowsill and embraces her blonde. We'll deal with it when we get back. For the time being, I'd like you to train her. She'll be working with Anbu, Naruto pondered. Are you that sure the Rook will take the forbidden apple? Yugo wondered as Naruto lifted her chin to kiss her lips. We'll see, ponders Naruto. Jiraiya avoided the pair of blondes for the next week as they gambled, with the younger always winning and the older always losing. Yugo spent the week teaching TenTen proper Anbu etiquette and preparing her to join the corps properly. Tsunade gave Naruto her grandfather's cursed necklace and the story behind it the day before Orochimaru was due to return. The blonde vampire, on the other hand, simply laughed and relished the opportunity to put it to the test. Tsunade stares at the hole in the wall she made the week before, a blank expression on her face as the wind gently blows. Tsunade's ears are drawn to the sound of footsteps, and she looks up to see Orochimaru approaching. So, what is your response? He asks. Tsunade pushes off the wall and slowly approaches him, saying, I will heal you, but in exchange, you must leave Konoha alone, to which Orochimaru chuckles. Very well, says Orochimaru. Tsunade extends her hands, which begin to glow green and blue as Orochimaru smirks, but a kunai whizzes by, causing both to leap back. To think you would betray me. Tsunade. Orochimaru hisses as Kabuto lands on the wall next to them with a solemn expression. As both Sannin stare at each other, the tension rises. This is your response. You'd try to kill me, but thanks to my faith in Kabuto, he'd notice your treachery, says Orochimaru. Yes, we are both members of the medical corps. So I became aware of her violent intent, as Tsunade's body begins to tremble, Kabuto says but narrows his eyes. Small laughter escapes the blonde, confusing both, but the laughter grows louder and more like a man's laugh. You have a good eye, but you made a critical error. Tsunade's is not present, she says this as her form transforms into Naruto, shocking both of them. You? Hisses Orochimaru. Naruto charges forward, tossing several kunai at the pair, who both dodge and land on the wall. Snake, don't run away again. Face your death with dignity, Naruto yells. Damn you, Orochimaru exclaims, but is forced to dodge with Kabuto as Naruto shatters the wall they were standing on. Can he match Tsunade's strength? Heims Orochimaru emits a hiss. We should switch places, Kabuto suggests, and the snake Sannin nods as they rush away. Naruto grins and chases them out of town to a more open area, a wild expression on his face. Naruto flashes several signs and takes a deep breath. FTON. Shinkoku, he thinks as he fires several blasts of wind. As they approach a large open area, Kabuto and Orochimaru dodge them. This should be far enough, Orochimaru says. Kabuto reaches into his pouch and takes a food pill to eat before flashing signs and humming with a blue glow. Ho. So you're in a good mood, Naruto says as he reaches for his Chikudo. Kabuto vanishes with a shattered rock, but Naruto leaps as Kabuto appears beneath him to grab. Naruto draws his sword and prepares to stab Kabuto, but he dodges to his left, and Naruto pursues him. As Naruto swings his sword, Kabuto uses Shunshin to appear behind him and touch his sword arm as the blonde swings back, then catching his left leg as he passes with a skid. Naruto stumbles slightly as his Chikudo slips from his grasp and his leg collapses, causing Kabuto to smirk. Something is wrong. Naruto-kun. If you don't understand, I severed your bicep and rectus muscles in your arm and leg, Kabuto expresses himself. Is that supposed to stop me, Kabuto? Naruto asks as he narrows his eyes and slowly rises to his feet, most of his weight on his right leg. With a smirk, Kabuto charges forward and connects with a palm to Naruto's chest, causing the blonde to seize but grin wide and grab Kabuto by both arms. Sorry, that doesn't work on me, Naruto howls, connecting with a headbutt to Kabuto's face, breaking his nose and cracking one of his glasses lenses. As Naruto giggles, the silver-haired ninja staggers back, tears welling up in his eyes from the pain. You could have cut those muscles and tried to stop my heart. That doesn't matter with my new body, says Naruto. Kabuto stares at Naruto, his upper half shadowed and his eyes glowing. So what now? I thought you were going to kill me. Hurry, hurry. Come try to kill me, Kabuto, Naruto yells. Orochimaru appears next to Kabuto with a smirk. Do it, Kabuto, he says. Kabuto bites his thumb and lifts Orochimaru's right sleeve, revealing his burned arm as well as a tattoo, before smearing blood on it and slamming his hands on the ground. Kachiyose no jutsu, Kabuto exclaims. As a large snake looms over the area with Orochimaru and Kabuto on its head, a large eruption of smoke fills the area. It has purple scales and black rings running down his body, as well as green eyes. Why have you summoned me, Orochimaru? It roars. Manda, I want you to murder Kyuubi's child, Orochimaru yells. Manda shifts its gaze and hisses at Naruto. Fine, but I want another 100 sacrifices on top of him, he says. Naruto laughs with a wild expression on his face. Oh yes. Come on, try to kill me, he screams and charges forward. Manda does the same as the vampire leaps into Manda's mouth, ready to swallow him. Naruto? Tsunade exclaims as she and the other arrive, but it's too late because Manda has closed its jaws. Kukuku. Jiraiya. It's a Sannin reunion, Orochimaru sneers. Tsunade clenches her left fist. Damn it. That necklace is truly cursed, she thinks. Orochimaru. You've descended too far. We are no longer colleagues, Orochimaru laughs as Jiraiya yells. Comrades? That word gives me shivers, sneers Orochimaru. Today is the last day we will be called Sannin, Tsunade exclaims, about to bite her thumb as Jiraiya does the same. Orochimaru. See curse on YU, before he and Kabuto, Manda begins and Orochimaru freezes. Jiraiya, Shizune, TenTen, and Tsunade exclaim in horror as ice and wooden spears erupt from Manda's head, killing the snake boss. Orochimaru grossly underestimated Kaiketsuki's abilities, Neko says as the snake lands with a thud. Orochimaru and Kabuto crash land on the ground, the latter wide-eyed as Naruto erupts from the Manda with a roar. Impossible, Kabuto says. Naruto has an impossibly wide grin on his face. Thanks for the meal, Orochimaru. I've been famished, he muses before inhaling deeply and absorbing all of Manda's blood. Orochimaru clenches his teeth, but his gaze shifts to his other Sannin. Even if you refuse to heal me, Tsunade, I have a plan. Konoha will be destroyed. I'm hoping to see you both there. Orochimaru says as he sinks into the ground. Kabuto turns to face Naruto and flashes several warning signs before disappearing in a puff of smoke. As a result, he fled once more. Oh well, Anko and I can find him later, a voice screams. Everyone except Jiraiya turns to see a massive black snake with blue eyes and purple rings down its body. What is that? He exclaims. What happens to those I consume? You should beg your pervert god not to do it to you, before his body balloons and explodes into black crows, Naruto hisses. With a roll of his neck, the blonde reforms in front of the ground. Now then shall we return, Naruto says. Konohagakure. As she walks out of her father's study, Hinata covers her face to hide her rage. Not only is Naruto the Kyuubi, but also the son of the Yondaime, she thinks. The Hyuga heiress leaves her family's compound and heads to the training ground to meet her team, where she encounters Sasuke berating Karen. What do you mean you have no idea where he is? Hisses Sasuke. I am not Naruto's caretaker. Because of the invasion, he has his own missions. Karen fires a shot, and Sasuke stares. A puff of smoke appears to draw their attention, revealing a woman with long brown hair dressed in Jonin attire. Hello. I'm Yamato, and I'll be in charge of Team 7 until Kakashi-senpai recovers, she claims. How's Kakashi-sensei? Karen inquires. He is recovering but remains unconscious. Lord Jiraiya should be able to bring Lady Tsunade back to Konoha, Yamato says, her voice softly concerned. For the next 3 hours, Team 7 went through some training and missions to assist with village construction. As Karen walks to the hospital for a shift, Yamato dismisses them, but Hinata follows her. Is there something wrong, Hinata? Karen asks. Did you know about Naruto's heritage? The Hyuga heiress asks the redhead with her red eyes. Yes. Naruto told me during our training. Why, says Karen. There is no reason. Perhaps we can meet to talk, Hinata states. Karen adjusts her glasses, her eyes slightly narrowed. I'll let him know when I see him again. Now I must leave for my shift, she apologizes and walks away. Hinata narrows her eyes as she watches the redhead walk away, so she is either unaware of his true nature or conceals it well. He is not only the Kyuubi, but also the Yondaimi's son. That pedigree might be enough to depose my father, she pondered. The heiress travels to Training Ground 8 in search of Kurenai, recalling the display at the exams. She did mention Kaiketsuki as her fiancé copyrightee. So Naruto is now in the CRA, Hinata pondered. Hello, Hinata. What exactly are you doing here? Kiba yells, drawing Sakura's gaze to the heiress. I need to talk to Kurenai-sensei about some personal issues, Hinata says. What about Hinata? Kurenai asks, moving a stray hair from her brow. Something personal. Can we meet at the dango shop? Hinata as a state. Kurenai furrows her brow but returns her attention to her team. We'll go with a D rank with Shino in command. I shouldn't have to wait long, she says, and 2 people nod reluctantly. Kurenai follows Hinata to the dango shop, where the 2 take a booth in a quiet corner. So, what do you want to talk about? We are no longer in contact, Kurenai expresses himself. Hinata closes her eyes for a few moments before saying, during the second round, you mentioned that you were engaged to the proctor named Kaiketsuki. Along with Proctor Mitarashi. Kurenai arches an eyebrow. Yes. He is the last male member of his clan, so he qualifies for the CRA, Kurenai responds, sensing where this is going. I'll get right to the point, Kurenai. I'm aware that Kaiketsuki is Naruto. I used my Byakugan to see his chakra. Kurenai narrows her eyes as Hinata speaks. Hinata, I agree with you. You're interested in Naruto now that he's revealed to be our Yondaimi's son, Kurenai expresses himself. I'm not interested in Naruto as a person, but his name is significant. The Yondaimi is revered throughout the world. So, if I were to marry someone like that, Hinata says this while ignoring Kurenai's eyes turning a glowing purple and returning to normal. Hinata, you've grown so much. You've developed a wicked heart. Naruto has had a difficult life, as you have witnessed. But you want Naruto to be a tool for you, Kurenai expresses her rage. Hinata rests her chin on her hands, which are propped up. Yes, I did notice it. Naruto rescued me from some jerks who mocked my Byakugan. He failed miserably, but I continued to observe him, and he demonstrated that he was a fool. However, his never say die attitude inspired me. So I appreciate it, she elaborates. Why don't we skip the words and get to the heart of the matter? Asks Kurenai. Hinata sighs and leans back in the booth. I want you to persuade Naruto to take me as one of his wives, she says. Kurenai closes her eyes and takes a deep breath. Hinata. You have truly become like your father. Scheming to further your own aims, she says. I am nothing like that man, Hinata hisses, her eyes narrowing and flickering. Would you give Naruto the time of day if he wasn't the son of the Yondaime? Kurenai asks, but Hinata remains silent. Or you know another of Naruto's secrets? Something that could get you executed? Kurenai adds as he walks away from the table. Hinata sits silently and bites her lower lip in rage. That fucking bitch, she thinks. A week later. TenTen kneels in front of the dragon on one knee, with Neko and Naruto standing behind her. Tsunade-sama has been reintroduced. Excellent work, Rook. Dragon begins and turns to face Naruto. Kaiketsuki's decision to bring you in. It was not a bad decision, but you were green, Rook. Anbu is not the same as a Genin or a Chunin. If you make one mistake, your entire team will perish. TenTen nods as the dragon continues. Before weaving signs and stopping on Ram, Dragon approaches TenTen and rips off the left sleeve of her shirt. TenTen shivers as the Anbu tattoo appears on her left arm after the dragon places their hand on her arm. Rook, welcome to the zoo. Continue to dazzle us, according to the dragon. Thank you, Commander, the TenTen signs. Kya, Ketsuki. See you later. We need to talk about a few things, Dragon adds, and Naruto nods before exiting the room. You can speak now, Panda, Naruto says as he removes his mask, but Neko retains hers. TenTen looks up at Naruto as he holds out the forbidden apple. So, will you take the forbidden apple? He asks. TenTen slowly rises to her feet and removes her mask to take the apple from his grasp, causing the blonde vampire's eyes to glow brightly. Welcome to the Queens, says Naruto. Neko approaches and undoes TenTen's armor, saying, your parents and team will be notified of your transfer, to which TenTen slowly nods. I'll notify Dragon, Neko says as she exits the room. So how does this work? TenTen asks, blushing, as Naruto wraps his arms around her waist and behind her back. Don't worry, it's simple, but we won't do it here, says Naruto, and they vanish in an instant. TenTen immediately feels queasy, but her breathing becomes labored because they are in a bedroom. Where are we and what was that? She inquires. In chronological order. My bedroom and Hiraishin, Naruto says as he throws his coat on a chair. TenTen stares at him with wide eyes. How? She asks. My father is Lord Fourth. Don't worry, I'll explain later. I'd like to get some rest, says Naruto. TenTen gulps slightly as Naruto approaches, raising her chin to meet his gaze. I inquire once more. Are you willing to eat the forbidden fruit? He claims. TenTen blushes and nods, yes. She says quietly. Unlike the others, I will give you my bite. Do tell them, Naruto coos, his breath on her neck. TenTen's skin flushes at his breath, but she winces as Naruto sinks his fangs into her neck, causing her to groan. Her eyes flutter as his right hand supports her head and his left gropes her breast. TenTen's neck is covered in blood as Naruto continues to drink, soft moans escaping the bun-haired Kunoichi. This feels good, TenTen reflected. Naruto unlatches with a grin on his face as TenTen falls forward on the bed, barely breathing, but Naruto turns her over, seeing her red cheeks and bleeding throat as she moves weakly further into bed. While climbing into the bed and holding it to her mouth, Naruto licks some blood from his cheek and bites his wrist open. Drink TenTen. Become one of the night, says Naruto. TenTen opens her mouth, and a few drops of blood hit her tongue, providing her with enough energy to grip Naruto's arm as he makes a fist to force more blood out. TenTen's skin begins to pale as the whites of her eyes darken and her pupils glow purple. Enough. Enough. Naruto hisses, yanking his arm back. TenTen moans heavily, but her eyes grow heavy, and she slips into death and rebirth as Naruto's eyes return to normal. He slips out of bed as his shadow gurgles to form a coffin, then picks up TenTen and places her in the coffin. A shower, then a nap, Naruto reasoned as he closed the coffin. TenTen is reborn as a mistress of the dark, and Naruto returns to his room and into his bed after a quick hot shower. The Hokage Tower. Jiraiya, how could you do something like this? I've done everything to make things up to Naruto-kun for what happened, and you have cracked that by lying not only to Tsunade but also to me, Hiruzen exclaims. Jiraiya withers in the presence of his sensei, the shinobi no kami and professor. I was in a bad mood. Minato had died, and the prophecy had come true, he claims. That does not change the fact that you chose to abandon a helpless child. For personal reasons, Tsunade explains. Hiruzen sighs and rubs his brow. Neko, he says, and Neko appears. Where is Kaiketsuki? Asks Hiruzen. He's with Rook, Neko says, and Hiruzen nods. Tell him I had nothing to do with Jiraiya's decision, Hiruzen says, as Neko nods and returns to her post. You have no idea what he said. If he believes you knew anything, he will kill you, Jiraiya expresses himself. And who's to blame for that? You denied him the opportunity to be raised and cared for. All because you were upset about Minato's death and a prophecy that you know should be taken with a grain of salt, Hiruzen claims. Not to deviate from the topic. But Naruto informed me that you want me to be Godem, Tsunade explains. With a nod, Hiruzen lights his pipe. Yes, I do. The invasion of Orochimaru has shown that I've been Hokage for far too long. I would have died if it hadn't been for Naruto-kun, he starts and stops. And things have changed because of him. Danzo is no longer alive. The civilian council was dissolved. Homura and Kaharu are no longer my consultants. Their voices have been reduced to speaking for Sasuke-kun, but this is diminishing with time. So, Tsunade, I request that you become Hokage. Make this village a permanent home for Naruto-kun, Hiruzen keeps going. You're afraid he'll leave, says Tsunade. He wouldn't leave, after all. His parents died for the sake of the village, Tsunade scoffs as Jiraiya says. A village that scorns that sacrifice. You witnessed what he did to Manda. I doubt we'd be able to stop him even if we used the Kyuubi's power, Tsunade explains. Tsunade is correct. He has access to the Sharingan, Mokuton, and a slew of other bloodlines. This includes their memories. He once told me that the trappings of mortal forms have no power over him. He has the ability to transform into anyone and completely vanish, Hiruzen says, causing Jiraiya's breath to catch. If you're that scared, I'll do it. Aside from that, the kid is a gambling prodigy. He easily paid off my debts, Tsunade explains. Thank you very much, Tsunade. As for you, Jiraiya, I urge you once more to avoid Naruto.
Nobody knows what he will do, Hiruzen claims.
Fine sensei, says Jiraiya. Anbu headquarters. It's about time I told you about something, Dragon says across from them. The blonde is sitting with his legs crossed, dressed in black jeans, a white muscle shirt, and black gloves. Dragon takes off their hood to reveal whitish blonde hair, then removes their mask to reveal a woman with light mocha skin. Surprised, says the dragon, but Naruto shakes his head, noting her aquamarine eyes. With a sigh, Dragon places her mask on the desk. Have you ever wondered why I became interested in you? That's because we're related, Naruto raises an eyebrow as she speaks. How? Says Naruto, moving his lollipop from side to side, and the dragon sighs. Arya Namikaze is my real name. The Namikaze, you see, are originally from Lightning Country. However, the clan split about 40 years ago. Our branch remained in Lightning, but the other became nomadic, Dragon elaborates. My father was an orphan, Naruto says, to which Arya nods. True. I found out about your father near the end of the war. By that point, our branch had been absorbed into Kumo's military machine and had become accustomed to nothing. My parents were able to get us out, but Arya says but pauses, a rueful expression on her face. Kumo, on the other hand, dispatched one of their death squads. The previous dragon just happened to be nearby and saved me. I was taken to Konoha and thoroughly examined. Hokage-sama agreed to let me join Anbu, but it was too late to see Minato. The Kyuubi incident occurred, Arya goes on. So when you found out he had a son, says Naruto. I did everything I could to assist. I assigned Neko to be your bodyguard and assisted in the training of Hana. I kept you close when you joined Anbu, but I couldn't tell you who I was. By telling you now, I am breaking protocol, Arya states. Naruto sighs and uncrosses his legs. The old man most likely allowed you to tell me. He wants to keep me in the village. He is concerned that I will abandon the village, he claims. Crafty on his part, but ultimately I have living family on both sides, he muses as Arya reaches for her mask. Arya removes her mask, and the dragon reappears. Tell no one what you heard, she says. I won't. Do we have any other living relatives? Naruto inquires. Perhaps one. However, I have my doubts, Dragon says, nodding, and how long before Rook is battle ready? Dragon continues. Approximately 2 to 3 weeks. Anko and Hana will accompany her on bandit clears. Yugo will then begin her training, Dragon nods as Naruto says. You're handling it well. You now know that you had living relatives in the village, says the dragon. Well, having souls like Danzo and the like helps calm me down, Naruto says, but snaps his fingers. Oh, I need an off-the-books mission, Naruto adds, tilting her head. Why do you need a black mission? The dragon inquires. Naruto gets up from his seat and makes a shush motion, it's better you don't know. Just know that I'll be taking the queens +1, he claims. +1 for our rookie, Dragon says as she leaves her office, smirking. Naruto leaves Anbu HQ and walks into the village, where several people stare at him but the blonde ignores them. I should go check on Senpai, Naruto reasoned before disappearing. General Konoha. Naruto arrives at the hospital and goes to Kakashi's room, where he finds Yamato reading his orange book. How are you feeling? Kakashi Senpai. Hello there, Kino Senpai, Naruto greets him, and Yamato gives him that look. Sorry, Yamato Senpai, Naruto apologizes. Better, but I'll still be down a little longer, Kakashi sighs to the blonde. Senpai will be looking to you to lead the team. I need to get back to work, says Yamato. That is acceptable. What rank missions am I eligible for? Naruto inquires. Up to and including a C rank. I believe they should leave the village. Be wary of Sasuke as well. He is aware of Itachi's search for you, says Kakashi. Naruto sighs and rubs the back of his neck. That's his problem, but I'll be careful, he says. Naruto-kun, Hiruzen says as the door opens and he sees Naruto. How's it going, Gramps? Asks Naruto. The current Hokage sighs and walks over to the blonde. Thank you for resurrecting Tsunade. Did Neko say anything to you? He claims. She did it. Jiraiya is an arrogant fool, says Naruto, sighing, but I am hurt. He continues, and Hiruzen frowns. I should get back to work. Please excuse Sandame-sama, Yamato apologizes and walks away. Senpai. I want you to have the house, Naruto says as he pockets his hands and walks to the window near Kakashi's bed. Have you gone to the house? Hiruzen inquires, and Naruto shakes his head. I'll finish it tonight. The deed can then be transferred to Kakashi Senpai. Consider it an early wedding present from Tenzo Senpai or Yamato Senpai, says Naruto. That was Naruto's parents' house. I couldn't take it anymore, says Kakashi. I couldn't stay there. It would bring back bad memories. Besides, I'm happy with my complicated, Naruto ponders and turns to face him before putting on his glasses. You're also my father's student. As a result, we're like brothers. So, big brother, take the house, before turning to mist and slipping out the window, Naruto adds. The following day. Naruto arrives at the training ground wearing blue jeans, slightly untied work boots, a high-collar zip-up shirt, and a shorter version of his dress uniform jacket. The jacket ends a few inches under his armpits and is white and orange in color, with black gloves on his hands. The blonde spent the entire night in his parents' old house, going through and securing what his parents left behind and securing the house for Kakashi. The vampire nearly fainted when he saw the room set aside for him, but he pushed through and took everything down for storage. I didn't think you could feel such things, Kyuubi says after a brief silence. Naruto scoffs, releasing a cloud of smoke. I'm feeling a lot of things. Do you want to see my numerous sexual exploits? He pondered, but the fox remained silent. Naruto notices his fellow team's 7 members waiting, but he notices Sasuke is irritated. Please accept my apologies. I became disoriented on the road of life, Naruto says, smiling with one of Kakashi's eyes. Where is Yamato-sensei? Karen inquires. Yamato-senpai must return to her responsibilities. So I'll be in charge until Kakashi-senpai returns. When Naruto responds, he notices Sasuke's tense expression. Sasuke, the last loyal Uchiha, glares at Naruto with a serious expression on his face. Dobi. Fight me, he says, shocking his teammates. Alright, but don't cry when you're laying on your back, Naruto says angrily, his hands pocketed, his face shadowed, and his eyes glowing. Is this wise? Asks Hinata. Sasuke summons his Sharingan and looks at Hinata. Stay away from this Hyuga. This is strictly between me and the Dobi, he hisses angrily. Naruto removes his sunglasses and tosses them to Karen, saying, Karen, go get a med nin from the hospital. We'll need them, pocketing his hands once more. Sure, Karen says as she rushes away. Naruto rolls his neck a few times while looking at Hinata. You will be our eyewitness. Only come to a halt when I say so, he claims. Why does Itachi want you? Screams Sasuke as he unleashes a furious 1-2 flurry. Naruto keeps his hands in his pockets as he dodges with a backstep, smirking. Sasuke closes the gap with a leap into a spinning wheel kick, forcing Naruto to pull his right hand from his pocket to block. Naruto reaches out his left hand to grab Sasuke's leg in preparation for a toss, but Sasuke slams his hand on the ground, connecting with a mule kick to Naruto's chest and knocking him on his back. You certainly do, Dobi. Itachi would not look for someone like you, Sasuke yells. With a puzzled expression, Naruto closes the gap with a flurry of right jabs, forcing Sasuke to dodge and block. Arg! Cries Sasuke as Naruto connects with a left hook. Naruto then grabs Sasuke by the front of his shirt and monkey flips him, throwing him for a loop as he completes a full rotation to the ground. Naruto kips up again as Sasuke turns on his back, dazed, before stomping on his face with his boot. Does that bother you? It irritates you that Itachi is staring at me rather than at you, Naruto says as he raises his boot again, but this time he connects with a log. Kaden. Jikaki no Jutsu, roars Sasuke, firing a fireball above Naruto. As Sasuke lands with a rage on his face, the blonde swaps with another log as the fireball burns it to a crisp. "I'll show you," Sasuke roars, shooting forward, clutching his left hand. "No, you won't," says Naruto. Sasuke closes the distance and thrusts his lightning cover hand forward, but Naruto brushes it aside with a serious look before connecting with a headbutt to the face of Sasuke. He staggers back, tears welling up in his eyes as Naruto connects with a stiff kick to the gut, breaking his control of his Chidori. As Karen returns with Shizune, Naruto grabs Sasuke while he is doubled over and powerbombs him into the ground. "What are you doing, Naruto-kun?" screams Shizune. Naruto smiles as he ruffles his hair. "Shizune, I'm sorry. Sasuke and I got carried away with our sparring," he claims. Shizune gives him a sidelong glance as she kneels to heal Sasuke, while the blonde's gaze shifts to Hinata. "It appears that we'll have to pick this up another time, Hinata," Naruto says. As Hinata approaches, Karen hands Naruto his sunglasses. "Another time then," Hinata says as he walks away. "So, what now?" Karen wonders. Naruto sighs and looks up at the sky. "How about we work on your chains?" he says. "Get out of my way," Sasuke yells, brushing aside Shizune. She staggers a little but catches herself as Naruto grabs Sasuke by the face and lifts him off the ground. "It would be prudent not to harm those who assist you," says Naruto, his face blank. Sasuke hisses and clenches his teeth as he grabs Naruto's right arm. "I don't need any help," he says. Naruto throws Sasuke back, and the last Uchiha staggers back, angrily clutching his face as the blonde looks down on him. "Contrary to popular belief, the world does not revolve around you. You are not the first person to experience the loss of someone close to them," says Naruto. "Dobi, stop talking. You have no idea what it's like. Maybe if I killed someone important to you, you'd start to understand how I feel." Sasuke screams, but his entire body immediately freezes. "Then you'd never see the light of day. Or maybe I'll kill you. Here. And now," Naruto hisses as shadows cover his upper body and his ki exudes from him. Sasuke staggers back in surprise, but vanishes as Naruto remains motionless. "I'm sorry," Naruto says, seeing Shizune and Karen's terrified expressions. "Everything is fine," Crane says, and Naruto nods, and they vanish. "Are you okay, Naruto?" Karen inquires. Naruto nods slowly and looks at Shizune. "Sorry about that," he says. "I can't say I blame you. And, since your team meeting has gone sour, how about I send Karen to training?" Shizune expresses himself. "Sure. We can start on your chains later," Naruto says as he lifts his sunglasses. "Sure. I'll see you later." Before Naruto vanishes, Karen says this and follows Shizune. After a few days, Kakashi rejoined his team, but Naruto remained in the shadows, keeping an eye out for Sasuke. Team 7 completed missions, but it appeared that Sasuke was becoming darker and darker, much to the surprise of his teammates. Kakashi tried but failed to steer Sasuke away from this dark path. Karen, on the other hand, had unlocked the chakra chains and could only manifest one, but Naruto was assisting her. A month later, Shikamaru stands in front of the new Hokage Tsunade, with Hiruzen standing next to her desk, pipe in mouth. "Nara Chunin. You've been chosen for a mission." Tokubetsu Jonin Izumo and Kotetsu discovered one Sakura Haruno near the path leading to the main gate shortly after 5 a.m. Tsunade begins and stops. Sasuke Uchiha has left the village. We believe he is on his way to the land of sound, Shikamaru gasps as Tsunade continues. What? Why? Asks Shikamaru. Orochimaru has enticed him, Tsunade says. Why would he entice Sasuke? Shikamaru wonders. Tsunade's hands are clasped on the desk, the reason is unimportant. This will be your first Chunin mission, she responds. So all I have to do is bring Sasuke back, Shikamaru says, but pauses, thinking, if there are no enemies. It shouldn't be a problem, as Tsunade looks him in the eyes. Yes, but time is of the essence. Because there is a good chance that Orochimaru dispatched his forces to lead Sasuke to him, Shikamaru internally tsks as Tsunade says. If that's the case, I'll need a 4-person team of Jonin and Chunin, Shikamaru says. Tsunade sighs and looks down at her workstation. I'm afraid I won't be able to do so. Because of the invasion, most Jonin and Chunin are assigned to missions outside the village, she claims. We can spare 2 operators, but you must fill the 2 remaining positions. You will be given 30 minutes, Hiruzen and Shikamaru both say they feel the presence of 2 people. Shikamaru turns to see 2 Anbu but recognizes one of them. You're the proctor from the preliminary exams, he says. Permission to remove my mask, Lady Fifth, Naruto says, waving her hand. Shikamaru, you're not alone. You are familiar with me, Naruto says as he takes off his mask. Shikamaru gawks but looks to the cloaked female Anbu, who wears her mask. What? You've arrived in Anbu, he says, rubbing his brow. Alright. I'll go get the other 2 members. We'll meet at the main entrance, Shikamaru says as he opens the door. I'd recommend a tracker and a medic. Karen is readily available, Shikamaru waves his hand as Naruto says. Orders, Naruto says as he returns his attention to Tsunade and Hiruzen. Bring him back to life. He's going to be milked until his balls fall off, Tsunade says as he turns to face the other occupant. She'll be fine, Tsunade says. Of course, Tsunade-sama, the Anbu says as she removes her hood, revealing brown hair in panda buns but hidden behind silk brocades and ribbons. She will be fine. Panda is progressing well, says Naruto. TenTen sighs as she removes her mask. I can't believe I let you talk me into that name, she says. What to do with Orochimaru's forces? Either kill them or bring one back, TenTen inquires. Bring back at least one. Alive or dead doesn't matter for the 2 of you, Hiruzen says, and TenTen's eyes turn purple. On your orders, TenTen says as she replaces her mask. Naruto rolls his neck as they both walk to the window. By your leave, Lady Fifth. Lord Third, he says as they leap out.
So that's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel for more awesome stories like this. Thank you. See you all in my next video.